This is the Jaking Off Show. It's Monday. Are you fucking ready? It's Monday. It's a new week, and it's a new you, and it's time to get your shit together. Whatever happened last week doesn't even fucking matter anymore. Maybe you had a bad week. Maybe you reversed your sleep cycle. Maybe, you're sleeping all day and up all night playing fucking video games, doing nothing. Maybe you're not getting enough hours at work and you're depressed. Am I talking about me? Kind of. But that was last week, man. That doesn't matter. It's Monday. It's time to start fresh. You gotta break out your notebook and write down your goals and just handle it. Pause this shit right now. Pause it right now. Because this is what you need to do. Get a notebook. Now pause it. Alright? Pause this fucking video. Alright, you got your notebook. Cool. So write down the things that you want to get done that you didn't get done last week that you need to get your shit squared away on. It could be something simple. Hit the showers, get yourself cleaned up. Stop smelling like fucking dead possum and shit. Make breakfast. Don't buy breakfast. Make breakfast. You got eggs in the fridge? Make that. Don't fucking do breakfast burritos, or whatever you got. Cook something for yourself. It's cheaper. Go to the gym. Hit the gym, man. Get in shape. Shit like that. We're gonna crush. Just some of it's my list, but make it personal to you. Whatever you gotta get down, get it down. Yeah, man. It's a new week and it's a new you, and you can do it. Just don't get down on yourself and stay motivated. Clean up your fucking space and stop wasting your time. Just fucking get your act together. I'm not talking about anyone in particular. I'm kind of talking to myself when I do this. These motivational moments that I have sometimes, it's really to get me in gear. Because no one is telling me otherwise, because I'm all alone in this world. No, I'm just kidding. I have friends. But, you got to motivate yourself somehow. And if I help you with that, cool. That's why I'm here. And I'm helping myself. Really, it's really, I'm talking to myself when it comes to that kind of thing. Those of you who know me well, just have called me an aggressive fortune cookie. It's easy to give advice, but it's more difficult to follow your own advice. Has that ever happened to you? You tell people to get their lives together, and yet you're a fucking mess. Reap what you sow. I really want to do some shout outs. I really want to pass this out because this show would not be possible at all at the level that I'm at right now without you guys. So shout outs to Ashley Thomas for your donation. Shout out to Alan Peterson, AGP the Funny Man. Follow this guy on Instagram. He's a really funny guy. He's a really, really high energy, high octane motherfucker, and I really admire that in people. Dude comes in hot with his comedy, and he doesn't fucking slow down. He becomes Alan Peterson is a charred man at the end of the night. That's not a black joke either. That's just like this dude is burnt at the end of the show. He's sweating up a storm. I love him. Love you, Alan. Thank you. Ellie Mox, thank you for your donation. Homegirl, love you. Love you so much. You've been there since day one, pretty much. And so are you, Ashley. I don't want to hype you up too much because I know how you're shy and all that, and you're probably listening going like, this motherfucker. But thank you. I love you so much. Thank you for that. Cherry Blossom Spirituality, thank you for your donation, whoever you are. Cherry Blossom Spirituality. You one of those crystal clutchers? Sounds like it. Not judging. Thank you, though. Appreciate it. C. Adrian, thank you for your donation. Homegirl, you are the one, man. Not the one. You got a kid. I'm not a homewrecker. But thank you for your donation. Means the world to me. And most importantly, my brother, Luke Bassey, thank you for your donation. Holy shit. It's just because of you guys, I am now able to record more podcast time per month. With my current subscription through Buzzsprout, if you're listening on Spotify or if you're listening on Buzzsprout, this is how this is possible. I'm on the free version as of right now, where I only get 2 hours, and because of you guys, I can now get more content out per month. And, all donations and all contributions made to the Jaking Off Show go straight to making this a better podcast. And the next big goal is just money to save up for another camera, because I want to have 2 cameras in place for when I have a guest over, whether that be out of my room or whether that be at a place of business that would allow it, or another person's house. I'd like to travel as well. A small little traveling podcast with just a couple of cameras and some microphones, maybe my laptop, and get it going. That's the next big goal, is just another camera. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, guys. But if you would like to become a patron and help this podcast grow into what I want it to be, you can go to my Patreon at patreon.com/JakingOffShow and donate as little bit as $1 a month, or $3 a month, or $5 a month. It doesn't really matter. It's completely customizable to you. You're under no obligation to do so. I'm not begging for money or nothing like that. It's just going to make it grow. The Jaking Off Show is always going to be free to listen to on Spotify, on Buzzsprout, and on YouTube as well. And YouTube will also be video for Buzzsprout and Spotify listeners. Just audio. Tough luck. You don't get to see this pretty mug that's a strong 4. I'm like a weak 8 in Tennessee, but I work with what I got living in this town. Show dates. August 12th, I'm at the Universal Bar and Grill, Monday, August 12th at 9:30. That's on a Monday night. So if you're in North Hollywood or Sherman Oaks, if you're in the Valley, come through. It's a free show. Watch me talk shit, and it's a bar show, so there's going to be a lot more dirty jokes. Stuff about college, stuff about eating a girl's pussy on her period. Disgusting shit like that. But it's funnier when you're drunk, I promise. And I'm at Flappers, August 26th. That's another Monday night. Tickets are $10. You can find out more about that by going to my Instagram at Jake L. Bassey on Instagram. Yeah, and you can find out how you can go to that show and reserve your ticket, because those will go fast. There are killer headliners, killer comics, and discount margaritas. So come through, have a good time, have a good laugh. I'd love to see you there. So basically what I'm here for is the podcast is about promoting other artists' work and having them talk about their work with passion and with balls and with gusto, more importantly. Could be music, could be filmmaking, could be comedy, it could be writing, it could be voiceover, or theater, or you own a business, or whatever. It's just to get the word out and to get people to pay attention or get asses in seats to your thing, because that's what we all want, right? Because that's the thing about any type of show business, is that if there's no show, if there's no people, well, then you don't really have a business, and vice versa, and that's what this is all about. Ran into some scheduling conflicts, shit happens, people are busy, but I'll have the homies on soon. But for now, let's talk about me. Let's promote me, if I didn't do that enough already. I do stand-up comedy, and so far, not as a living, but I'm doing it. And the thing is, I've restarted from comedy. And here's the tale on that. When I say restarted, when people ask me, how long have you been doing comedy? I restarted 7 months ago. I started officially for the first time when I was 14. And my friend's dad had suggested that myself and my friend, along with his sisters and all that, try this stand-up comedy camp at the Laugh Factory. And it was, even if we weren't remotely interested in stand-up, it was a good thing to do to develop public speaking skills, because that's an important skill. You need to know how to talk to people, right? And I was really the only one out of that whole squad that really wanted to pursue it and do it, because I loved it. I already loved performing. I did, like, little fifth grade plays and stuff like that, but I was always interested in performing and I always liked doing it, so why not? And the Laugh Factory was a great first place to get a real experience of what stand-up comedy is, because what that was a 5-week course in the basic fundamentals of stand-up, and it was a camp for like ages 8 to 16 or something like that. And there was a bunch of other kids there that were funny, that told funny stories. And Jamie Masada, who owns the Laugh Factory, was pretty much like at the helm of that whole thing, just teaching us the basics. And there was a guest comic, like a guest teacher, every week for those 5 weeks. And these are people with clout, people that have been in the business for years and years. So we got to get a first on, like, a hands-on experience of what it is the deeper you go into it. And that was really enlightening. Although I was only 14 at the time, it really opened my eyes to, wow, I could make a living doing this, maybe. But that's what I was in it for at the time, is that, oh, this would be a cool way to make money. And then I stopped thinking about it that way up until like a year ago. I think, it can't be about the money. It just can't. It's about putting your heart and soul into it. And that's a deep cut, but you got to put everything into it, and it's really something that I care about, and it makes me happy. And I don't know how else to explain it. It makes me happy, whether I bomb and no one's laughing, or if everyone's dying and I completely destroy the room. It doesn't matter. I'm learning every time I do it. Now, when I was a kid, one of the first places after the Laugh Factory comedy camp was my friend's dad. Again, knew a guy. It's always who you know, right? It's crazy how it's just who you know and you get involved in things. It's kind of a trip. But anyway, he knew a guy that was running an open mic at the Sportsman's Lounge, and it was like this patio area where, like, you have to time your punchlines to the traffic, to the horns honking, to homeless people passing by on noisy carts and all that shit. That was so much fun. And I got to see killers. Steve Pearl, Whitney Cummings, who was coming up at the time. She was funny. I've seen her there, and then she like disappeared because I've been actively going to this place for like 3 years, because every other club was 18 and up, and I was a teenager at the time, and my friend would sneak me in to the lineup. He would just throw me in there, and I guess his buddy was okay with it. But then, like, all the comics had to force themselves to do a clean version of their act, which I felt really bad about, because I was like a 15-year-old kid, and I felt like I was limiting their work and their practice. I'm like, no, like I watched fucking South Park. Like, just say it, say the dick joke, say the pussy joke. I don't care. It's fine. Because Steve Pearl is headlining. He's just if you guys don't know who Steve Pearl is, look him up. He's one of the funniest guys. He's a fucking legend, and just watching him go up was just absolute fucking madness, and I'm just dying on the floor laughing. Even though I had seen his act like many, many times, I am still on the ground laughing. And Whitney Cummings is just, I'm floored. I'm dying. And then she like disappeared for a couple years, and it was like, oh, what happened? Did she die? Like, did she kill herself? Was she not out for it? I guess people were joking about that. And then she just showed up on television, like, oh, good, she's not dead. Oh, she's not one of the many comics who fall to the darkness and go to drugs and kill themselves and shit like that. I don't know. I don't know her. it had none. I didn't have that impression on her at all. She was like a skinny white girl, telling these provocative jokes, and people were like, ha ha ha, and it's just like she was funny, and people like I feel like undermined her, and then she would just dip. I don't know, big respect, but coming up, I was just looking at legends and learning from them, and then I took 10 years off, and in those 10 years, it was my senior year of high school, followed by brief summer vacation, followed by 4 years of acting school, followed by 5 years of trying to hustle with the acting thing and battling injuries and depression and shit like that. And I decided there were too many synchronicities going on that I'll get into later. There were signs that the universe was pointing to me and going, you need to do stand-up again. This has been coming too long. You need to do this again. And I was thinking about it. I kind of pussyfooted it for 1 year. And now I'm just back in going, just not really a real strategy, just getting up on stage as much as possible. And by any means within my moral code to do so. And the whole acting thing, like I wanted to do it, and I wanted to get paid to do it, and I was willing to do it for free for passion projects and all that stuff. I got involved in dinky little short films, skits with friends, 48-hour film festival stuff, original content, motion capture, extra work, whatever kind of came my way. Got an agent, lost an agent, got a manager, lost a manager, just like, and they all suggested, oh, you need to take this acting class, which costs hundreds of dollars that I don't have, and you need to get headshots every year, so every time you change your look, and that's like another like $1.50 or so, and and that was kind of discouraging because I don't have a whole lot of money. I'm not a rich trust fund kid with a loft apartment in Silver Lake or whatever. I'm lucky enough to be from here. I'm happy about that, but there's just there was a lot that that I felt was limiting me, because here's the thing: to practice stand-up comedy is $5 at most open mic places. $5 or a 1-drink minimum, and you get to go up and you get to eat shit for 5 minutes and suck and just be terrible for probably a long time. But you get better every time you do it. You're sharpening the sword. Now I fucked up last week because I hadn't been sharpening the sword. I hadn't been putting in my 5 or my 10 to go to a place and just practice my stuff. I didn't do that at all last week. No, I did it once last week, but it's just I should be doing it like 2-3 times a week, not once every Friday or Tuesday or whatever. I have to do it more, and when I fall short, the comedy and the work suffers. And I notice it right away because I didn't do too hot my last outing. But yeah, practicing comedy was it's much cheaper than spending hundreds of dollars, $300 to $500 on like a commercial acting class or a scene study class or what have you. It's much more expensive to practice the craft of acting. And yeah, you could get some friends together and make something, but like it takes an army for that. It takes everybody has to be on board. There's a lot of hats to be worn to make good content, and everybody has to be on board with your idea. With stand-up, it's a lonely business, but you have more control and you can kind of do it all on your own, and it's never going to be taken away from you. Like if you become a working actor and like someone hears you say something off color or whatever, with or without the intention of being mean, or then you get less work, and people are like, oh, you're never gonna work in this town again because you said that awful thing. Like with stand-up, that's never gonna go away, and it's never gonna be taken away from me. And I've realized that not only is stand-up the more logical practice to perform rather than acting, because I'm poor. I'm a poor boy. Keep the sword sharp. That's what I try to do, and I fucked up last week, because and it's important that I fucked up, and it's important that that I wasn't the only comic that fell short at this particular open mic. At all levels, there's beginners, there's headliners, there's people who are professionals that make a living will still hit an open mic if there's no gig that day, just to practice. So one guy in particular, won't name names, professional comic, he was at this open mic I was at, and I overheard him like, oh, I'm practicing the weakest part of my act, which fucking good strategy. You're practicing, you're making your weakest point your strongest point, and you're performing in front of like 8 people, so it's not like you're gonna ruin your career or anything if you bomb at a 500 seat club or something like that. He was doing his act, and there was like 2 hecklers, one from another comic, which rude. Don't do that. It's not cool. Like, respect the spot. Respect the other comic's time on stage. Laugh if you think it's funny. Don't if you think it's not, or if it's kind of a chuckle. You could be a little fake and give it a loud cackle. That means that the joke's good. It just didn't make you fucking die or whatever. Other comic that don't heckle other comedians, especially if you are one. Come on. And this other like drunk homeless person, I think, walked in and just got drunk and was just... So yeah, the homeless lady that was at that open mic. Yeah, you noticed I did a little edit there because my card got full and I couldn't finish the conversation that I was having with myself. I'm learning as I go. Gotta get a new SD card. This drunk lady was heckling a professional comedian in the audience who was working on the weakest part of his act, which bold strategy, and she was like just making noises, like slouching over and passing out and all that, and like he handled it really well and still made it funny. It wasn't that I don't think he wanted to practice, not by a long shot, but he handled it, and I saw that. And I saw that and went, hey, I'm going to run into that problem one day. How am I going to handle it? Am I going to get angry? Some comics I've seen get angry. Prime example, the Michael Richards footage from the Laugh Factory a long time ago. That was bad. To having it be spun in a positive way, like an entire crowd versus Bill Burr in Philadelphia. Like, that's an iconic moment as well, with different outcomes. And it's based on how the person handles it. And I saw that and went, wow, that was really insightful. And I learned a lot from that. So thanks for doing it, man. Thanks for doing it. And that was cool. And there was like another guy who appeared to be homeless. I think it was part of the act. His whole shtick was like raggedy clothes and talking about how the world sucks. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, I'm on board with that, man. But tell a fucking joke, please. I really hope that was an act and that dude really wasn't homeless. Like, he went up on the stage like barefoot and his feet looked fucking disgusting. I don't know. Open mics are really something else, man. They're really an experience. They really are. And that's how you start. And, and that's where the chips fall where they may after that. Just get on stage. That's my only strategy. I don't care how. I don't care as long as it's within my moral code. I don't care how. It'll work out. I hope it'll work out. One thing that I cannot fucking stand, and it's not like an open micer thing, but like I've seen it at like showcase type shows, and that's as far as I've gone so far, is that other comics will do their set, they'll do their 5, they'll do their 10, or whatever, and then they'll fucking leave. Don't leave. Packed house or not, stick around for the headliner. The headliner's fucking hilarious. You're practically getting a free show out of it. You show up, you get a drink ticket, and you get to be a student of the game. That's how I see it, man. You're doing a huge disservice to yourself if you don't stick around and watch the rest of the show. Whether you're the first comic up, or the 5th, or the 10th, or the headliner's following you, or whatever. Stick around for the whole show, man. It's such, you get to see how other people work their styles, and you get to have a good time. Most importantly, whether if the comic that went up sucked and doesn't want to stick around, like I get that. I've done shows where I fucking stunk and I really wanted to leave right then and there, but you gotta put your fucking big boy pants on and tuck up, son. Like you gotta put the boys in place and get a little uncomfortable, because that's going to happen, but you need to stick around. And that really bothers me, is that when it was a small show, and 2 comics brought 2 friends, there's like 4 people, so there's more comics per actual paying audience members, and we then had to fill the role of audience, because there's no fucking show at all, basically, and you got to do it, And you got to stick around. It's so important. You have to support your fellow comedian. I would be the first guy up, and I'd stick around. Whether I did bad or not, you watch and you learn. And when the headliner did his bit, and I shook his hand, I'm like, hey man, thank you. That was a really good show. Thank you. And now like we're talking, and it's like, you can't just leave, man. You gotta hang out. You gotta network a little bit. And God, I don't stick around that long either. I'm not a socialite. In fact, I'm a very nervous person when it comes to environments like that, because I'm not thinking about impressing anybody. I'm thinking about my act, or what I'm going to say on stage before. I'm a total like, oh God, no. I'm in the corner, don't look at me, don't talk to me, don't say nothing to me. I'm really like focused and anxious and nervous at the same time, and I gotta, once I do my thing and I get off, we can chill now, we can relax, we can chit chat a little bit, and I'll do that for maybe 20 minutes, and then I gotta go, because I'm exhausted and I don't want to stick around too much. I don't want to have drinks and stay till the place closes and shit. No, I just like, you say thank you to the host, you say thank you to the headliner, you say thank you to the feature, and compliments or whatever, thank you. And if it's like, hey, let's get a picture. If that comes up on its own, cool. If everybody wants to come in and get a group picture, that's fun too. And then you go, and then you have a good night, and then hopefully you get remembered and you get booked again, and people like just have you in their brains. That's the whole strategy, man. That's it. That's all I know how to do anything in this, and I'm gonna do it until I'm not, and until maybe I shelf it again, or I do it till I die, or who knows. My heart's in it. I don't care what the future is. I don't give a shit. I'm just doing it now, and it's making me happy. And I could honestly, I could cry right now, but I'm not gonna do that on fucking camera, because I'm a man. Damn it, I'm a man. I'm tough. I'm stoic. I don't show any emotion at all. It's just anger. That's my default, anger and rage and like apathy. I don't know. Yeah, that's it, and that's that. I just wanted to have a little chit chat on my stuff, and what I'm going through and what I'm doing, and hopefully we can go up from here. I want to have a nice little background that's not too obvious that I smoke marijuana, or maybe that it's not too obvious that I'm operating out of a room. I would like, dude, studio space that'd be something crazy. I'd love to save up for that, and upkeep. What my realistic fantasy is, patrons go halvesies and I put a chunk into this because you have to invest into your business, you know, and that's kind of what I'm doing, and I'm kind of starting my own business, really. There's a thought. Yeah, every dollar gets that gets sent my way via Patreon is getting put into this, and it's only gonna grow, man. Nothing can stop me. I'm certainly not gonna slow down. That's for sure. But damn, dude, what a journey. And it's Monday night. I started recording during the day, and then this fucking shit went down, and I had to fix it, so that's why there's a little cut there. And yeah, that's it, and that's that. I'm recording my next guest this coming Friday. Hopefully that will be out by next week, and we will, by August 1st, we will officially have 6 hours worth of recording time. All thanks to you guys. Thank you so much. And we've hit climax. We've jaked off. I love that idea, man. It's a pun and it's silly, but